I'm Elizabeth Taylor, Executive Director of the National Health Law Program, and with me is Don Verrilli. Don, thank you so much for joining me today. Don is the former Solicitor General of the United States. He's now a partner at the law firm of Munger, Tolles, and Olson, and most important, Don is a member of the board of the National Health Law Program. Don, as you know, the vision of the National Health Law Program is that everyone will have access to quality health care, that people will be able to achieve their own highest attainable health potential, and that they will have all they need to thrive. And we know that to achieve that vision, we need a robust, thriving democracy. I've been worried, you've been worried about the state of our democracy and our democratic institutions, and you and I were talking about why the work of the National Health Law Program is actually so important to ensuring that we have that thriving democracy. You reminded me to go back to Roosevelt's Four Freedoms speech. That was a good reminder. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that speech has really become a touchstone for me. I sort of first connected up with it back more than 10 years ago when I was defending Obamacare for the first time in the Supreme Court. And that case was really about a battle over what does liberty mean? And the challengers were saying, well, what liberty means is that the government can't intervene and tell you what to do with your life. And we needed to have an alternative way of explaining, no, actually, liberty is about something more fundamental than that, and that actually rooted in the preamble to our Constitution is the idea that the government exists to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. And in order to secure the blessings of liberty, you really need to have people who can live healthy, full, fulfilling lives. That's really what it means. And you can't do that without access to health care. And then I hadn't at the time really connected that up with democracy. But as you indicated a minute ago, of course, there's a lot of reason to be concerned now about the health of our democracy and the strength of our democratic institutions. And that has caused me to reflect even more about Roosevelt's Four Freedoms and really to understand that what Roosevelt was talking about, of course, and I think what he said in that 1941 speech is that the four freedoms, the freedom to worship, the freedom of speech, the freedom from want, and the freedom from fear, are the foundation of a healthy democracy. And of course, the reason he was saying that was that in early 1941, fascism was on the march and taken over most of Europe and most of Asia. And fascism was attractive because it was making a pitch that democracy couldn't provide for these basic human needs, and that fascism was a better way to go. And what Roosevelt was saying was, no, democracy is the way to go, but in order for a democracy to actually be healthy and flourish, you needed to be able to provide these basic building blocks of human flourishing. And so there's a really profound connection there, I think, and Roosevelt was talking about that in 1941.
So which of the four freedoms are you focusing on when you are wearing your NHeLP board member?
So that is really all about the freedom from want, and that in order for citizens to really be able to flourish in our democracy, I mean, even to get to the polling place on election day and vote, but more fully to be able to participate as real citizens in a vibrant democracy, they've got to have their health. They've got to be not worried about their children's health, not worried about their parents' health, not worried about their spouse's health. That's just an absolute prerequisite. And so it's that freedom from want in that sense of ensuring that people can have access to affordable health care, that every single American, every single person here has access to affordable health care, that's just an absolutely vital prerequisite to the democracy actually flourishing. So I do think there's a really profound connection between what you do and what NHeLP does and the thriving of our democratic process.
And do you see connections between the threats out there, the threats to healthcare, and the broader threats that we're worried about?
Yeah, so a couple. One we were just talking about a little bit, that in order for people actually to be able to participate as citizens, they've got to have freedom from want in the sense of, not having to have so much of their lives consumed with trying to get healthy or stay healthy. But beyond that, as we've talked about, there's, I think it's not an accident that a lot of the same people are out there trying to make it harder to vote, make it harder for people to participate fully as citizens, are also people out there trying to make it harder to get access to health care if you're not a person of means. And as I said, I don't think that that's accidental. I think that there's two fundamentally different visions about what it means to be an American and for what it means to have a flourishing democratic society. And I will say, I think NHeLP is on the right side of that one.
Well, thank you for that. You've been really involved in the work that the National Health Law Program does in the courts. What do you think about our work in the courts and the importance of that to our democracy?
Yeah, so I think that's really vital work. And I really think that what's going on there is that the organization is out there fighting to secure the rights that actually the democratic process has already decided to give to people in this country. Now, it's not enough. Of course, we both know that a lot more needs to be done to secure real health equity and liberty in the sense we've been talking about. But the government has done some, but it's important that those not just be paper guarantees. They have to be real and they have to be enforced. And the only way for that to happen is for NHeLP to go into court and fight to ensure that those guarantees are enforced and are real and make the difference that they're supposed to make in the lives of millions of people. So I'm really proud of my affiliation with NHeLP generally, but I'm especially proud of that work that NHeLP does. I think nothing could be more important.
Well, we're very grateful that you are so connected with the work of the National Health Law Program, and in particular with supporting our efforts to keep the courthouse doors open and, as you said, to use courts to enforce the rights to health care that we have and the rights not to be discriminated against in access to health care. We're very proud of that work and grateful for the partnership with you, Don.
It's a privilege to be a part of it. Thank you.